/shoe. All right, let's get on with the show. So John Chow, as soon as your slacking ass wants to get on the video and get going, there you go. All right, we're closer.
Hey. All right, I think we're working now. I was just I was in the chat room.
I know. Well, there you are. So John Chow, my mortal enemy, and one of the most guys I respect at the same time. How are you doing today?
Good, good, good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Your video looks awesome.
Huh?
Knowing you, you have got some. What kind of camera do you use?
Right now, just the one built into the iMac.
Really? Because I'm using the one that came with the iMac too, and you look better. But maybe it's just that.
It's the lighting.
Oh man, you're always John. Like I'll put up some bullshit videos, and I'll say it's me. And John is the only one who's like, "Well, where'd you get that video from?" Blah blah blah. And I'll be like, "How did you know that it's not me?" And he's like, "Because I know the equipment that would take to do that." And I'm like, "Yeah." So everybody, John Chow. If you don't know John Chow, he is literally like we have had a lot of fun and going back and forth over the years, and actually very well for ourselves in doing so and creating controversy and competition between us, and then you know, gosh, I said we'd known each other for a decade. It's got to be close because
yeah, I think it is.
It was well before. Yeah, it was pretty much since you weren't very far off in your blog because I know we had to been because you wrote about auction ads and I knew you way before that. And so, you know, auction ads will be right around 10 years. Well, 10 years ago, pretty much now.
Yeah.
So
I started my blog in December of 2005, and I actually blogged about you as part of my Google horse story.
That's right. And that one got an extreme amount of that, like supercharged your blog.
Yeah, it went right to the front page of Dig, and I think that was the month I hit like the front page of Dig like 20 times.
That's crazy. Remember that Dig effect where like it was like, we just got destroyed, like Dig. There was no cloud stuff back then or anything. You just kind of held on and waited for it to die out. So where are you at? Or are you home now?
Yep. Yeah,
okay.
Right now, I mean, I'm in Southern California at the moment.
All right, and that's home base for you, right? You're in LA?
Yeah, at the moment. Orange County, 1 hour south.
Okay, cool. South. So is that by San Diego?
Yeah, Orange County is between San Diego and LA. So I can go either way. 1 hour north, 1 hour south.
There you go. I was just in San Diego about a month ago, and I rented a car and I drove up to LA one day. And I actually, because I got that $100,000 in cash from that company, and I think I hit you up about it. And I was like, hey, where I
was in Mexico at the time.
Yeah, I was like, dude, can you, I wanted to be like, hey, can you deposit this and then send me the money via wire or something? Because I don't have any local banks around here. Like all my little Nebraska banks don't have branches in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. So, I ended up just the guy who did it to me just gave me a wire. So that was an interesting proposition because I was like, okay, I know I can't fly home with $100,000 in cash.
Yeah, so how did you do it anyway?
The guy who had it, for me just took it and wired it to me. Otherwise I was just going to try to go to a bank and get them to, I don't know, just ask them what my options were. I mean, that doesn't look sketchy, roll in with $100,000 and be like, So yeah, anyway, there were some other people that I knew there, but when he was just like, yeah, I'll take it and just wired cash, I was like, yeah, that would be the easiest way to handle this. So awesome. And you've been like crushing it. You got on board with MOBE, and today you've made what, like $2 million off that thing?
Yeah, I think we're up to 2.2 now.
Yeah, you son of a biscuit. I just am always amazed by that. I can tell you that there's a lot of the people in MOBE, like as soon as I took John arranged for a cruise for us, a bunch of our internet marketers, and he did all the logistics, all the legwork, put it all together, and we had an amazing time. And on that was a couple MOBE people.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when the pictures came back and I got tagged by those people in particular, oh my gosh, the MOBE people came freaking friend request, and then all of a sudden I got all these private messages about like, hey, see you're friends with other MOBE people, like let's get on the Skype and chat and all, and I'm like, no, I'm not involved with that. I'm bitter about it because I missed the boat, and John is steering the boat right now. He freaking owns the boat. So I'm not bitter though. I'm not bitter. I'm really happy for you because like as much crap as we give each other. I mean, I've told you many times that you are the guy who has it figured out. Like you are the one person that when people ask me, is there, I want to do no work and do this, and I'm like, well, you should pay attention to John because it's not like you don't do any work. I mean, and I know you hustle at the beginning, but I mean, like everyone who knows you, like I was talking with Shikhar the other day, and he was just talking about how much he learned from you, just being around you, how to delegate things, how to just set up a system and all that stuff. And so it's very, very cool. What you've accomplished is very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you're still an asshole. You're still an asshole, but no, it's good. I'm very happy for you. Envy, a lot of people back in the day used to hate on us, right? And they still, what's weird is that it's not nearly what it used to be.
No, it's not. Well, I think what happened is a lot of them has basically, after we've been around for 10 plus years now, they figure they were probably expecting us to go away.
Right. And also the interesting thing was like these guys that would start these blogs, they only lasted about 4 or 5 months. And then once, because they would say, oh, I know a lot about affiliate marketing. They would write like 3 or 4 really good posts. Mm-hmm. And then they like turned into this salty, envious person of like, because they got all this attention at the start and then they didn't get any more attention. They were like, hey, look at me, I'm still smart guy over here. And then we would just keep on trucking, and then they would be like, oh, the gurus, la 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 la. And it's like, okay, I wouldn't consider myself, or you probably that sells yourself as a guru. Maybe you do. I think a lot of it is because people will say, well, John Chow, he's never, owned a company like you or sold things or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, and he doesn't sell a product to own a company and do that. I'm like, John sells what he does. And I'm like, he's got a book about how to make money blogging, and this stuff. And guess what he does? He makes fucking money blogging. And so for those people that I love it when people actually do crack on you, and I'm like, you guys just don't get it. And I'm like, envy sucks. Envy is like the worst sin because there's no upside to it. Like, gluttony, there's some upside to that. I mean, you go through the sins and there's upside to a lot of them, but envy is definitely not one. So it's funny, like, and somebody just had me on a podcast the other day and said, it was Stephen Spencer. And he said to me, like, what do you do when people do that? And I said, well, a lot of times it's an opportunity for me because I enjoy it and I love that controversy part. But I said, in the end, it's really winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. Mm-hmm. And, so what I do is I take that as an opportunity to focus and better myself by, pointing out that, what this person said and then getting up on a stand and being like, yeah, okay, here's why this person doesn't know what the freak they're talking about, and pointing out specifics, and then they got nothing. And, but that's just the thing. I mean, you have always focused on where you're going. And like I said, like I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to say envious because that implies like, I wish you bad luck or whatever. But I mean like, and I don't want to say like I'm super proud of you because that's condescending, right? But I'm happy for you because the thing that I like about you is that you have your thing figured out, and sure, you have a couple pivot points when items come along. But I mean, if you look at me, I've been all over the freaking map. I've had my own info products. I've started my own agency. Dumb mistake. Well, it was an educational experience. Started my own advertising network. Started, just like all this other stuff, and you just have been laser focused on this one thing. And so, it's impressive. It's impressive because a lot of people, I think that sometimes I think, maybe I should have just kept blogging and doing other stuff and not trying to conquer the world. with some of these things, but I've hit some good ones. But okay, I talk too much. So tell me about what you're up to.
Basically, I'm still up to the same old stuff. Like, how I always done is, I design my stuff around free time more than anything else. So I'm not here to build a big company or anything like that. So basically, I'm just living the .com lifestyle, which is what I've been promoting, for the last 10 years, the ability to have time, money, and location freedom. So if I were to, try to, I guess, start a company from the ground up and dedicate 12 hours a day to it, blah, 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 then I would be neglecting what I promote, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with you before because you send out a promotion a lot. And I asked you, like, how do you feel about promoting? Because you send out a promotion a couple a week at least. Mm-hmm. And I asked you one time, I said, what do you think impact that has on your list? Like, do you think it ever upsets people? And I believe your answer to me was, well, they came to me to learn how to make money online and see these things, and that's what I give them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you subscribe to my blog, you know what I'm about, you know what I do. So, it will be a disservice for me not to email you to tell you all the latest thing I'm doing to make money.
Right.
That's my
and
opinion.
I mean, yeah, and I actually was surprised. I paid John. I've paid John many times, twice a month, to promote my own stuff, and I actually thought that, okay, after like the 5th time, am I going to see results? Because I've already hit these people up for everything. Like John's already mailed. In many cases, John, it was the exact same email, right? Mm-hmm. That you sent out to my network thing. But it always got me a great response. And I was always, the one thing I've learned about this industry is you don't know anything about, like, you always have to let the numbers tell you. Yeah. And, in working with you and saying, like, hey, can you do the first 15th? Let's work out a deal. It always came back pretty good. I mean, I'll just tell you, I've pretty much doubled my money every time I spend money. I shouldn't say that, but it always has. No, it's always, well, I mean, that's gross profit. That's not like after, the PayPal money I pay out and all that other blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, but from a gross profit perspective, I mean, every dollar I spent with you, I got back 2 on the gross side or on the top end side. So like I said, like, I was impressed that the quality was maintained, and that's what I was getting at. Because we have a lot of users in our ShoeMoney network that I don't sometimes feel like I email out to enough. Well, I don't ever email out to them, hardly ever. So we've got a lot now. We're up to 480,000 overall, but in the U.S. alone is about 210,000
users.
And those, that's double opt-in. So now I just have to figure out how to make money with it.
Lots of stuff you can do.
there is a lot of stuff you can do. It's one of those things that's just become a monster. And it's turned into one of those things like my PAR program, like other things where I'm just bringing in more and more people to help with it, more and more expenses. And I got some things to figure out. It's a good place to be. Mm-hmm. So what do you got going on travel-wise? You're always traveling everywhere.
Well, towards the end of this month, I'll be off to Thailand for another MOBE event. It's another mastermind. So I'll be speaking there and selling from the stage as well. Those are always fun. And I think we have a Philly Summer coming up, right? End of July.
That's right.
Those are always fun.
Yeah, you got to remind me after this to talk about a little something. We might have to have a little gathering there. You need to talk to Matt and tell him, okay, ShoeMoney missed out at the beginning. It's time to bring him into the fold. Okay, it's time to bring ShoeMoney into the MOBE machine. Just bring him in, give him a hug, say, you know what, you're welcome in now. Even though you pushed us away at first, you're welcome. You're welcome. No, I think it's amazing, and I love that about you because you're like, you know what I do? I'm gonna go sell from the stage, and like I remember the first time I spoke at a Mike Filsame event, and he had all his people.
I was there. I remember you left like in 60 minutes.
I know. I was like, because they were like, "What are you selling?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know this thing to sell. And they were like, "What?" Because they get half the money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they were pissed that I didn't have anything to sell, and I was like, okay, it would have been good to know like everyone there had something to sell at this event, and I was like, well, shit, I've never done that before. So, but you've done well. Like, can I ask like what's the best you've ever done selling items from the stage?
$50,000, 90-minute speech.
And was that on like what did you actually sell on that?
Basically, I just sold info product. You know, like I packaged it up into a USB drive. A little USB drive contain everything. I used to package up on like DVDs, but I figured, you know, like, DVD you gotta burn it and everything. It takes time. Where I just transfer the USB drive, and basically the drive has my logo on it, and I go, it's $2,000 for this drive, and you're gonna pay for it, even though it only cost me $2 to make.
God, you're killing me. You're killing me. You know, I'm going to make 50 grand in 90 minutes, but I don't know, I got to spring for a DVD. I don't need a spring. No way, USB makes more sense anyway.
Yeah, it does.
I got a DVD my mom sent me of all my old videos as a child, and I have no DVD players in my house. No computers, no nothing. I had to go to like Kinko's. Yeah, so
my MacBook had no DVD player. On my iMac still got one, but that's about it.
Right. So those of you asking questions, Anna and I have another person that are monitoring the chat, and they can paste them, and we should be able to see them overlaid. If not, she has my Skype, and she can message me in case I miss them. I'll tell you, John, I'm super impressed with the Webinar Jam app because you can do all kinds of really cool stuff with it. And it leverages all the Google Hangouts stuff, of course. And you know, there's other things you can do with it too. I'm super impressed with it, like amazingly impressed with it. Andy Jenkins killed it with this thing. It's and he's built a magnificent company around it. Anyway, Webinars Jam's good stuff. By the way, do you buy any links or do any link building services?
No, like a few years back, I did employ an SEO firm to, and all they did was, you know, wrote some articles for other sites to give me backlinks. But no, I never bought any links.
Well, the place where everybody's going to now is just happens to be a sponsor of the show. Okay. That's my lead in, okay, to this. I'm supposed to like casually introduce this one, but it's the Hoth. And actually the Hoth, people knew this. Yeah, I know the Hoth. Yeah, and the Hoth is where people go to buy links. But the interesting thing I've come to learn is that like all these agencies are actually just white labeling the Hoth. So I thought that was really amazing. So if you're out there, you want to do that, go to the Hoth, check that out. So like I worked in the sponsor there. I'm gonna get better at that. This is only like my third show. We've got some good sponsors though. We've got Beats by Dre, we've got On It, and the Hoth. And we have another one that I'll work in later. And those are the only ones. I promise you guys, that's all we're gonna get for now. Okay, I'm super happy with them. This is great, and I'm not gonna bombard you with sponsorships. Okay, so John, traveling the world, freaking living the dream, that mother freaking. So hoverboarding. Why can't I ride a hoverboard? I think here's my thought.
Did you get the hoverboard? Did you get the hoverboard from
No, that guy never answers my email ever. But I bought like 7 different kinds. I can't do it. I mean, I literally have tried so much that I have on like crutches. And I'm like on the hoverboard. I literally swear to God, I have crutches going around. I have come to the conclusion my feet are too big.
I think you should try it. Well, first of all, a hoverboard has I believe, a 200-pound weight limit or 220. Mm-hmm. All right, so I don't know how close you are to that limit.
Come on, you weigh more than me. You got to weigh more than me.
190.
Okay, well, I'm like 208. Okay, so. All right, let's not get we're within 10 pounds.
I think you might be 8 pounds over the weight limit, so that might be. But actually, what you can try is try it without wearing shoes.
I mean, It's just this getting on it part. Like I'm always like immediately like squirrely. I think it's my big feet. You've got them little Asian feet, okay? And when we were going scuba diving, okay, and you ordered your shoes, I was like, what? I was like, no way.
I'm a 9.5. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess that's not that small. That's not that's only a couple. Well, I'm 13s. I think that you know what they say about big feet, big socks,
Big hands,
big socks. So big hands, big gloves. Okay, so yeah, that was fun. I remember all the people accompanying us going, Mr. Chow, Mr. Chow, Mr. Chow. You want to do this, Mr. Chow? Oh man, they were great. That was great. That was a really, really good time. I had Carolina on here, Carolina, and she was on one of the first ones we did with us. Yeah. And smart. She's such a smart girl, and I think she's well. I'm going to work with her on a couple things, but I mean, I like her a lot, and I think that she's very good. You know, Neil Patel he was on the last one we did. He spent a good amount of money breaking into that South American market with Brazil and Chile and all this stuff. He actually has hired a firm down there to spread his stuff. And I told him, I said, "What are you on your headphones with the Rosetta Stone, like picking up Portuguese and Spanish?" And he's like, "Yeah, a little bit, you know." And I was like, nice. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, how you've traveled all over the world doing this stuff. How open I've never been outside the United States, with.
Yeah, we made the comment that you can't speak any other language other than English.
Right. Well, I can say, ni hao ma now, thanks to Midi. Yeah, so I think, blah, 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 blah. Now I have been to Europe recently because of the British Virgin Islands. Technically, that's correct.
That's right. It is the British Virgin Islands.
Okay. It didn't occur to me until I got back that I have been to Europe.
You also thought it was just off the Florida Keys.
I know, I did. That's the funny part. So we're doing this thing, and I was so busy that week, and I'm just, whenever I travel and stuff, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to California, I'm going here. And I had talked to someone, and I don't know why I thought it was like off the coast of Miami or near the Florida Keys. So I land, and I'm like looking around, and there's like chickens everywhere, and there's like, and I'm like, and I know because I've scubaed in the Caymans and other spots where there's chickens. And generally when there's chickens, you're surrounded by a ton of water because they've got no natural predators. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I said to the lady, "Where are we?" And she was like, "Oh, you're in, the island, And I was like, no, I get that. But where, like, geographically are we? And she's like, "Well, there's this." And she's like, "You're about halfway between, Florida and South America." And I was like, "Really?" I had no idea. You guys know, I mean, you out of anyone know how ignorant I am about, geography. I'm the worst. Mm-hmm. Absolute worst. And, gosh, I was showing someone the other night we were in a bar down there, and there's a video of me, and I'm referring to the president of the United States as like Thomas Jackson or Andrew Jefferson. I forget. I was so hammered, man. I can't. That was such a fun trip. Anyway, okay. So you're out living the .com lifestyle. Okay. Where I was going with that is you've been all over the world. You've seen these different markets. Where do you think is the biggest emerging market for this space?
Right now, Asia, especially Singapore. Because when I look at the current sales for MOBE, currently there, I believe last time I got the math, Singapore is right now either the second or third biggest market, and it's only 4 million people there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually our second or third highest ROI in the ShoeMoney network is Singapore. That makes sense. Yeah. That was really, really interesting.
Yeah, well, it helps that the country help that the country is rich to begin with. That's the first thing. Right. And that they speak English as well. So.
Got it. And if we get any questions, I'm not seeing them, so if you could just post them, like overlay them, or just give them to me on Skype. So Singapore. So what do they speak in Singapore?
4 official languages, but English is actually the main one. School is taught in English. Yeah, school is taught in English. The government does a business in English. Interestingly, you can only keep a car for 10 years. After that, you must get rid of it.
Huh.
Yeah, and if you want to buy a car, my Jaguar in Singapore costs $550,000.
I was going to ask about that, the tax, because like when I was in the Caymans, not that it's the same thing, but like a BMW is like $500,000, and like they have insane import tax.
Yeah,
and that's why. Yeah. Anyway,
you can't just buy it. Before you can buy it, you have to purchase a certificate of entitlement, and that gives you the right to buy the car. It's $70,000 for the COE. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
so what do people are people just rich there and just don't care?
Seems that way, doesn't it? Because the country, the average income, the average family income is $10,000 a month. So.
Okay. So this Christopher guy, I'm gonna give you some attention because I can see you're getting upset. So he says, first of all, is this webinar supposed to benefit me somehow? And then he says, you waste my time and money so far. And then he says, I have asked questions several times, which you can go back and see my question. I'm not sure exactly what his question is. You responded to him. And you even said, my apologies, what is your question? I'm getting an idea you do not care since you have not. See, this is the kind of people you just can't help. I mean, no offense. But I have, with my ShoeMoney network, like obviously we get 2,000 people signed up a day. And there's some people that come through there, and a big part of it, how we actually can afford to do it, is web hosting. I make no bones about it. It's obvious. So sometimes I get these emails from people and they're like, will you refund me the $1,800 I spent? And I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? And normally I forward all the emails to support because it's a lot of emails that we get, like 1,500 support tickets a day. So every once in a while I'll see one like that and I'll be like, what? So I'll respond. And I say this. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call you. Okay, because I just don't understand how you can go from buying a $5.95 web hosting package to $1,800. I'm losing something there. There's something wrong here? So I get on the phone with her, and she's just like mad as hell, and I'm like, just calm down and explain this to me. Like, it just explains to me. Well, she got on there. She bought this monster pack. Like, she had to go in and select like the giant, because I'm like sharing my screen with her as I'm like, I'm going to share my Skype with you as we're on the phone here. So you went all the way up here and selected this? And did you see the price here? No. Okay. Did you actually watch my video where I tell you only need this one here? No, I didn't finish the video. And that's why I'm saying, like, there's some people you just can't help. I mean, you're very clear on what you do, and it's sad. It's super sad. But
you ever get the begging emails and the give me money emails?
All the time.
Yeah.
You get those. The ones that like I have issues with are the heart-throbbing charity ones where people are like, hey, or the ones that are just like, hey, my friend's kid is trying to win this contest. Can you please tweet about him or blog? Like, I'd love to, but not sure that would resonate well with my readers. And, let me see. I've built a rapport with my readers for 10 years and all my followers and all that. Yeah, let me jeopardize losing those to get your kid freaking, a new freaking, watch, for his Boy Scout thing. So
I generally put all those emails into a folder. I call it the Dear John letters. and I'm going to publish it. And one day I'm going to publish them as a book called the Dear John Letters.
That is good. That's good. I actually like you. Yeah, that's really good for you. So here's a question I bet you've never got before. This is very, very unique. To John, what should a newbie do to get started?
What should a newbie do to get started? Like
Yeah.
this to make money online?
I'm sure you've never gotten that before, ever.
Oh yeah, no, never get that. Never get that email.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing is, yeah, those kind of emails, like, I mean, without more information, like, you know, like, oh, this is the reason why, you know, I like just pushing them through the 21-step in MOBE, because I say, you know, because they give them a one-on-one coach, and because everyone's situation is different, and you know, you're gonna, if you really want to find out what's best for you, you really need, and I don't have to kind of talk to that person, so I go, yes, go sign up for this, talk to the coach, and let him work with you one-on-one and make a plan for you.
That's really good.
Yeah. General question: what should you get started? I would just say, oh, go start a blog. That'll be my general answer.
Which leads to a great question that somebody just asked, which is blogging dying out?
Is blogging dying out? I mean, not that I can see. I mean, I think a lot of the blog you see that used to be around when Shue and I were around, like the guys like Nikki Cake and all those other guys, their problem, the reason they folded is because they were trying to be like, oh, we know more than those guys, so we're going to focus on a more high-end technical issue. The only problem is when you focus on that stuff, your audience is a lot smaller because the people understand it is a lot smaller, whereas we just stuck with the big base. So eventually, you know, they're talking on all the upper iron level or whatever they want to call it. They run off and talk about it, and they realize they have no audience.
Right.
So they give up on it, and then that's why they disappear.
Yeah, and I think also like people don't want to, I mean, that's a great point. I think people don't want to adapt. Like for me, how I started my blog was I was just learning how to make money online. So I would share like, oh, I did this with Google AdSense and it did this. You know, I did this over here. Hey, I'm starting my own affiliate network or advertising network. But then it was, I was very transparent. And then I got to the point where of like, you know, man, I'm starting to slim down my audience because now like to really reach that certain percentage, I've got to like, it's very difficult because now it's like, okay, here's how to write a maternity policy, right? Like there's not very many people that are going to give a shit about that. Yeah. So then I got more into the lifestyle blogging of like, you know, where it's kind of like, I see you doing that a lot as well.
Yeah.
And you actually, you know, gave me all the shit to buy so I don't crash my Z06 into my door anymore. I just had black wheels put on today. It looks good. Freaking sweet. Yeah. I'll send you a picture. Yeah, and I think like that's the thing. So the blogging thing, I definitely don't think it's dying. I do think that Facebook has, and Facebook in particular, I believe, has semi-killed off a lot of blogs. Like you used to have guys that was the only medium you could broadcast from was a blog. So like, you know, like my traffic, all my readers, all of that, like before Twitter, before Facebook, you had this RSS subscribe to blogs. Yep. And a blog with like when me and John were going for many years before all this stuff, and before 2007 about 2008 when Twitter really got traction. You know, you would have RSS feeds, and me and John had a contest about RSS readers, and we really went after each other about it, and we both did extremely well. I forget who won that. Oh wait, it was me. That's right.
We have a rule that says you're allowed to cheat. So.
Oh, I cheated my ass off to win that contest. I cheated my ass off. I found some bugs and some stuff, and I busted that thing. So then, basically, like, I think that when Google killed FeedBurner, even though it's still running, when they said, we're not going to support this anymore, that was like 5 years ago, maybe less. But it's really like, I see a lot of people who write great content on their Facebook wall, like John Reese, for instance, used to have a great blog. Yeah, and then he transitioned everything over to Facebook, like just started writing everything on Facebook. I almost did that myself. Like I found myself doing that. Like I'd find something cool, you know, I do some stuff, and I still do. Like I think, you know, we see a lot of people do that where they like give away, you know, so much stuff on Facebook. And really my point is they make Facebook their new blog. Only Facebook reaps all the benefit of that.
Yeah.
You're providing excellent content on Facebook, and Facebook is just like, yeah, Facebook's just like, thank you for that. That was great. Come again.
Well, Facebook is actually my #1 referrer and around the social networks. So what I do is I just use it to get traffic back to my blog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't put my content on there. I just put like an excerpt and say, hey, read the rest at johnchow.com.
Right, and that was really. I love how that guy was just, now he's just spamming away. I like how, you know, he was like, what am I supposed to learn from this? Well, we've actually grown in attendees as this has continued, and most people have stayed on. And I think a lot of it is just, you know, you can ask us anything, and if you would choose to be an asshole and spam and stuff like that, then you do. But I'm going over the questions right here. And also, like, you know, if you just want to get in our heads, and plus we're just some badass dudes who you don't normally have access to. Let's just be honest. So anyway, so yeah, I think I always tell businesses that I'm like, your big mistake is that you have everything on Facebook. Your website sucks and you drive nobody to your website. You just have everybody here in Facebook. You buy all these likes to your things, which is okay, but every post you make should be driving people to your site. So like I said, I got away from that a bit, and I would talk about UFC fights on Facebook, and, you know, I'd get a ton of likes and a ton of conversation going. And then I had one of my friends one day said, you know, dude, you never blog about UFC stuff, or you never blog about this. You only write about these, you know, guides and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, like I should do that, you know. Anyway, so that's a good point. Okay, more questions. I like have a Facebook page that is growing on gardening. How can I monetize that better?
You have a Facebook page about gardening.
Gardening, yep.
Gardening on Facebook. So, you know, if you have a lot of likes on this page, basically if it's on Facebook, you have no other avenue to send them to. Your monetization method is going to be limited. So the only way to do it is basically you would find a gardening affiliate program, and then you would just write Facebook posts about the products this gardening affiliate offers, and just send the traffic there with your affiliate link and make some money that way. But ideally, what I would do is I would start a site around a blog or a site that's featuring more about your gardening services or products and stuff, and send the traffic to the site.
Yep, that's that. Yeah, and I mean, I know a guy, and John, you would know if I said him, that started a site that did delivery dog food. And the site, the idea never turned out. What's up?
Is this okay for swimming?
Yes. Sorry, my kids. So they can hear me talking, and they knock on the door, and they just stand there and stare at me. So anyway, so these guys, they had this pet food delivery company, and they started a Facebook group, and they would encourage their customers to upload pictures of their dogs. And so the Facebook, well, and it's not a group, it was a fan page, which now I guess it's a whatever page, whatever you call it. So they grew to like 300,000 pretty rapidly, but did nothing in dog food delivery sales. So they flipped it over, and all of a sudden they started, they hired a couple guys that would go out and find viral content around the animal industry, like dogs and other stuff like that. And so what they did was they just would do, basically recycle that blog post and put it on their site, and then everyone would share it because it was already proven to be very viral. So that's basically, like, I was super, super impressed with what they've done, and it's just so true. That it's what John said is, like, when you have an audience of a certain niche category, I mean, you can write reviews on products. You can do, I mean, there's so much stuff. And you've done what is the hardest part. You've acquired the users. User acquisition is always the hardest part.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So
yeah, that's the biggest problem most people have. You know, they figure all they gotta do is just like build it, put it up the blog, and then if you build it, they will come. You know?
For sure. It's so funny, this Christopher guy, I can't see what he's saying, but I can tell he must be going away because all it is just this Christopher, because we nuked his thing, but he can see it, like he can see it, but it just says like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like messages, but it's all bland banned. It's so funny because like he just keeps trying. We have these trolls all the time. Like really, this is why you came here. The first 5 minutes you're saying, am I going to learn from this? What am I doing? You're just asking me to do this. And I can see it's going like 3, 4 more at a time. And it's a riot. I mean, these guys are so, I feel it's a really bad mental disorder they have of like why it's a thing like I've come to deal with. It's so sad because you see people like Salty Droid and these other people, they just consume themselves with successful people. And they just like get this whole thing. And I don't know. I mean, I'm winning. John's winning. If you want to focus on us and be a dickhead while these other people are actually trying to ask really good questions, that's your prerogative. Best of luck, because as soon as this is over, John's going to go hop in his Ferrari or his Jaguar and go live the .com lifestyle and eat lunch and make more money than you've made this year while he's eating lunch. And so my thing is not to be an asshole, but to, just say, like, you have an opportunity right here to ask one of the most successful bloggers in the world a question, and instead you're just being a dickhead. So, if you're not here for that, then go away. Otherwise, I've provided an incredible resource for you to ask questions. Okay, I'm off my horse on that. So, John, tell me about MOBE. And I'll just be the first one. I am not a big fan of MOBE. And I have, well, actually, before we get to that, I got a really quick one. Okay, Brian says, can you talk about Notify and PAR and what has happened since you sold it? Well, Market Notify was a joint venture between me and some other successful marketers. It didn't work out. We both invested quite a bit of money in it. It was kind of a case of, hey, we're all successful guys. Let's put our money together and build this really awesome thing. Instead of actually saying, okay, we've got this awesome idea. Who should fill these roles? Like, what roles do we not have that need filled? Like, I know I need a CEO in my companies. I am really bad about managing people and processes. I'm really good at building products and rapidly growing them. So that one didn't work out. We lost money, but I mean, I love those same guys, and I've tried to do business with them in the past. I know I will in the future. As far as the PAR program, when I sold that, the details of it, it's a very complex deal. I mean, I got some cash up front. It wasn't $12 million. The $12 million valuation was based heavily on stock and then heavily on another factor of client recurring revenue. So it's one of those things. It's a complicated deal that took like 5 months to freaking ever pan out. Okay, so the last part of the question, what's happened since you sold it? Well, I was planning on retiring and living the .com lifestyle and all this. And then while I was playing around, I created ShoeMoney.net. And so someday maybe I'll make $1 with that. Until then, I've got a ton of users and having a really fun time with it. Okay, so the same guy, this is to you, John. It says, what was your biggest sale? Like, what's your record day?
Record day?
Yeah.
While I was in Mexico, one of my customers or downline, or what you want to call it, he purchased a $100,000 one-year coaching program. So I guess that would be my biggest single day.
From you directly?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And so how does that work? Like, how do you work on them?
Here's the thing. When I first introduced him to Matt, like, you got to understand, most bloggers, they either make money with Google AdSense, some kind of advertising or affiliate program or selling ClickBank product, that kind of stuff. And it's great because, this allows the blogger to just concentrate on creating content and letting someone else handle the advertising and the affiliate and the sales affiliate generation, right? And that's how I was doing it. Now, what MOBE did, or allowed me to do, was add a high big ticket component into my revenue mix, and I've always avoided that simply because of the creation of a high-end product is a lot more involved. The sales channel to sell it is also a lot more involved because it requires more than a video sales page. Generally, require a phone team, an events team, or that kind of stuff, and that's just not something I wanted to take on simply because we want to live the .com lifestyle. So when Matt says I created this, and if you want, you can leverage it. So you just send me, your lead who's already purchased from you, who trusts you, like they originally bought the low ticket $40 products or the web hosting, so they know you. Our phone team will call them up, and we'll offer them much more higher end products. And so that's how I got involved, and that's the main advantage of a service like MOBE. Is like, most affiliates, they would, that are promoting, say, Amazon, like there's three main advantages. The first advantage is that the customers tag you for life. Like unlike a typical ClickBank or Amazon where you make money in the first sale but then Amazon gets a customer, and then when Amazon resells them, you don't get anything for that. Whereas MOBE, once somebody buys any low ticket product or any product, that customer is tax free for life. So when a phone team follows up, now, tomorrow, next day, next year, if they make a sale, you get it. And the second advantage is just the pricing of the product. They range from $10 all the way up to $100,000, and you will make a commission on all of them. So the high ticket product, and because the high ticket product requires a more personalized service, which I don't want to provide, they have the phone team to do it. So ever since adding MOBE to my market mix, like I was doing pretty well, selling the ClickBank products and the Amazon products and the advertising. I was doing like 40 or 50 grand a month on that. But then those customers who were making me the 40, 50 grand a month, they had trust me. They wanted a more high-end product, but I didn't offer it. It's kind of like, why did Toyota create Lexus? Because as the customer got older, they wanted a more higher brand name car. They were moving to the BMWs and they were moving to the Mercedes. Right? So Toyota created Lexus to keep the customer in the fold as they were spending more money. So by adding MOBE, I was able to keep my customer in the fold instead of them going to Tony Robbins or Rich Dad Poor Dad or any other people offering the high-end product. Now I'm able to offer it myself.
And you're more like in their ballpark as well, because like, what does Tony Robbins know about blogging and higher end stuff? I mean, he knows nothing, right? And so I think it's a great analogy with the car thing, and it's also what's called the ascension model, right? From I don't know who came. It was way before probably the guy I'm going to name. Somebody else came up with it, but and the ascension model basically works like there's actually like scientific breakdown of it of like if 100 people will buy something at $100, then like 40 or 30% of them would buy something at $297, and then X% at this, and then X% at this, and X% at this. And so you're always going to have that percentage. I run across people all the time who have, like mentoring services for people that pay them $10,000 to $15,000 a month. And they're just like mentoring them, coaching them. I've never gone down that road. I have people ask me to do it and stuff. I'd like to know more about it and like how it generally works. But I think I undervalue myself. I get told that all the time. I undervalue myself because I end up talking to people for free all the time and all that stuff. Yeah.
I think it's because we have never actually personally paid $10,000, $15,000 to be mentor. So therefore, to us, we go like, why would I do that? And so therefore, why would I charge that?
I know that's the problem I have with it. I will say one time, it was a guy I worked with that paid me a ridiculous amount of money for one day to come hang out with him. And then I was like, man, I felt really weird about it. And then 3 months later, he did everything I said to do. And he's got a amazing business online, and he's doing like $60,000, $70,000 a month in profit. And I was like, wow. Like but the thing wasn't that he like paid me a bunch of money or whatever. It's that he actually did it. You know, he actually like implemented what I said to do, and he actually like would talk to me about the next steps. And that's the kind of, I've taken on recently some clients like that, mostly just businesses, about, you know, just like doing stuff. And when I first did it, I felt bad. There was one that signed me for like 15 grand a month. And literally the first month, I increased their conversion on one of their pages by like 17%. And so to them, and then they immediately signed me to a year deal. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I never talked to them again. Like they never called me one time. And so I said to him one time, I said, you know, don't get me wrong. Like, I love that you pay me every month, but you never talk to me. Why is that? And he said, well, we just didn't want you to work for our competition. I was like, I didn't actually think of that, but that makes sense. Okay. We got some questions here. There's a couple ones. Okay. What's your best, and it's 6 o'clock now, so we'll wrap this up in a bit. What's a good way to start acquiring users? I have an answer for that.
My answer would be basically the easiest way is just to create a nice, simple email capture page and send traffic to it. Right. Offer a freebie, offer some kind of free item, and just say, hey, get this. Like in my case, I offer my ebook, which is free, and the ebook teaches you how to live the .com lifestyle. I say, enter your name and email address. It'll be sent to you instantly.
And my theory on this is my same theory on SEO. And you got to remember, me and John didn't start with anything other than just us one day starting a blog. Like, people think my blog started with my AdSense check. I didn't post that Google AdSense check for a while after I got it. I mean, I already had now don't get me wrong, that catapulted it. But I mean, I already had people that were reading and stuff. And so what I'm trying to say is my outlook on it is that if you build something of value, people will link to it. And whether that's my whole practice on SEO, that's my whole practice on, acquiring users, is just, I just am me, and I just write. And if people find value in it, then you'll acquire them as a user, and they'll not only be acquired as a user, they'll buy things from you, and they won't refund. I mean, John knows his refund rates. I know my refund rates. When I did the last thing with the payings, we had less than 5% refund rate. That was amazing. Okay, so I got some questions for you, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. Okay, tell me about what is MOBE, because I seriously don't, and I just want to tell everyone, okay, I don't like MOBE just because of the people that sell it, and they're probably account for the 1%. Okay, I don't know, but there's certain people that sell it that just annoy the shit out of me because they spam my wall, they spam my blog, and it just annoys me. And I know that's a very small percentage. So just tell us about what MOBE is. Basically,
MOBE is an education company. They teach people what you teach, what I teach, and but they have online courses on various avenues, from blogging to email marketing. Some of the courses actually I made myself, so my course is actually on the marketplace. And they also do live events like masterminds around the world, where they'll bring in an outside speaker again to teach you how to start an online business, how to create a profitable online business. They also offer a mentorship and coaching program, and you can use the information to either to start your own online business, and that's how some people do that. Or if you want, you can be a MOBE affiliate and promote these online programs that MOBE sells. So that, in a nutshell, is basically what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and when I first heard about it, I immediately, shields went up, and I'm like, MLM, get it away from me. And after, I have to say, like that cruise that you set up for all of us to go on, after meeting Carolina and hearing her story and how well she's done with it, I was like, this isn't that bad. Like neither of those hit me up to like promote it or sign up under them or anything like that. And I was like, there's could be some on here, some good here. And I've actually wanted to look into it further. So how do you pitch it to people? Go ahead. I should
because I figure if you do, I'm going to post something on this chat box right here. Let me see. I'm going to post.
Okay.
You can see this, right? Because these are the top 10 affiliates for the month of April and what they made. All right, so I'm going to post in the chat box right here. So these are the top 10 affiliates and what they made. You see the guy? No, I'm not number one, as you can see. So the number one guy, his name is Darren. He's from Canada. $781,000 what he made last month. Right. So,
what's that guy's name?
Darren Selkos.
Jeez, how does he doing that?
Well, he's just driving a lot of traffic. But
maybe I should redirect some of my traffic.
I can tell you that because you don't have a high-end offer right now. All you're offering is web hosting at the moment.
I know.
And you have how many 100,000, whatever. You divert them to a high-end offer, you can beat Darren.
Well, I mean, it's not out of the book. Someday I got to figure out how to make $1 off this thing. But I do think that, yeah, I mean, like it is that ascension model. And here's the funniest thing. I went to just Andy Jenkins' house, and he's a good friend of mine. And so we sat down, we're talking about his business. I'm talking about mine. And all of a sudden Frank Kern comes over, which I text with Frank all the time. I've talked with the phone with him. I've never once said more than a word to him in person. So that was interesting. And then John Reese comes over, who I've known John forever, and I know you know John. Yeah. And I actually learned about Reese because you promoted Traffic Secrets.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And I was like, what's going on over here? My kids are fighting, if you can hear that. Hopefully they'll figure it out. So basically, I got these guys. So here's Frank Kern, Andy Jenkins, and John Reese, three of the smartest internet marketers I've ever met in my life. And so I'm telling them and they're like, okay, so you've got thousands, 1,000 to 2,000 people come in a day, great. And so then, they do web hosting, and that's how you do this and cover your costs. And I'm like, right. And then Kern is like, okay, and then you don't do anything after that. And I'm like, no. And he's like,
that's you, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's what I do. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, I get it. So they drew out this, those guys, they get on a whiteboard and it's like, and I took pictures of like 9 different whiteboards that were completely wiped. And then, each of them had their own things. And I love those guys, man. They're just so smart. And I was really humbled to have like them together, like focused on my thing. I was like, okay, wow, we got the dream team here. So, okay, one last question for you. Do you prefer promoting, do you prefer promoting affiliate products? I think what they're trying to say, or do you prefer promoting other people's products versus your own?
Yeah, I have 4 products on ClickBank, but they're low price, low ticket product. They're up $97 at the most. So I did very well with those things. But generally, I prefer promoting other people's product because, again, if I were to have to personally create MOBE, it would be in the 7 figures. I'm down to I had to form a sales team. Like Matt has 180 employees right now. And I don't want to run a company with 180 employees. I want to live the .com lifestyle. So I rather just license this high-end product. So this way I got the low-ticket product, the ClickBank product. I got the web hosting. I got the continuity with Aweber, lead pages, ClickFunnels, that kind of stuff that I pay me every single month. So I get the customer in buying one of my low-ticket product, whether it be web hosting or lead pages or Aweber And then I'll have more follow-up, offering them the online education, the mastermind, the other event, the big ticket events, and push them up the ascension model. So in my case, is then none of those stuff are mine. So they're all somebody else's. So Yeah, and that means that I could run it I could run from anywhere. There's no office. It's just a laptop. So I think
you don't need a staff to handle refunds.
No.
You don't need a staff to handle customer support. I know you do care a lot about your users because you've been an affiliate for me and sold my products, and they came to you with support and because they had a problem or wanted a refund or whatever, and they came right to me, right? So I know John does. I mean, it's not like he promotes everything and is like, oh, good luck with that. So I know you definitely care about what products you pitch to your users. Yeah. And I think the MOBE thing makes sense. Maybe do they have a webinar or anything, or it's just there's a low-end product, right, that people buy, which is
a $49 front end,
and then
that leads into a $2,500 license, and that'll lead into the masterminds and the personal coaching and the mentorship programs.
And then is that like your do you get 40 in that, or do you get half, or how does that work out? So
on the $2,500 license you get half. The mastermind you get a third because the phone team will get a third.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, that's usually how it's usually the affiliate and then the sales team and then the
company. Yeah.
The fulfillment. Yeah, the fulfillment of the product. All right, and I like what John said. You know, affiliate marketing has two sides to it, and this is what I tell every company and everyone who wants to be an affiliate. Being an affiliate is an amazing opportunity, but you have to sell products better than the company that's selling them. Otherwise, they would do all their media buys themselves, or you have to do it. They don't. Basically, they're using you as their sales force. The cool thing is for them, because I've been on both sides of it. Okay, so if I'm getting affiliates, basically all the risk is on the affiliate, right? Because if I don't make money with this person, I've spent money, then I don't make anything. And it's kind of like John. Like John promotes. MOBE because he knows it works. If another MLM came to him and said, hey, we see you're doing well with MOBE, we want you to produce us, he's probably going to be like, well, I made this much with MOBE last year, pay me X amount more, or I'm not going to look at it. Because why should he risk losing money to try somebody else's products? And that's the thing a lot of product owners don't understand about affiliates, is that when affiliates have something working, it doesn't matter that you have the highest converting, best paying offer. Unless you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, it's not going to work. And I've done that a lot with my products. I've been on both sides of that. So, all right, John, I really appreciate you coming on here. I know we had a little issue at the beginning. I'm still getting better at these Hangouts. This is my third or fourth one. I think it's my third, something like that. So we're just getting sponsors rolling, doing this. I'm going to make some really sweet ass intro to this thing, and it's a lot. I like doing video casts. It's a lot of fun. I've recently been doing more video for my blog and for other stuff. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I get fake nannies with big jugs bouncing in the passenger seat of a YouTube video that is completely not mine, and everyone believes it except for John. So.
Well, you could so tell when you saw that exhilaration video.
I know.
It's impossible. You don't have the equipment to do that.
I know. And here's the thing is that a lot of times I'll show it to Anna or I'll show it to someone else, and I'm like, okay, this video people are going to call me out on because there's no way. The nanny, I can't believe nobody called me out on the nanny one. They were all
One person did. One person found the original. One person found the lady, the girl.
That's right. One person did. I think the funnest way to do that is to completely not address the obvious. So I was like, I think I'm doing better with my shifting. Anyone have any tips? And then the key is to have your friends make the first comments. See, Anna's messaging right now, and she's like, Anna believed that was my nanny. Because Anna's worked for me forever, and she knew we were hiring a new nanny. She knew I was getting a Z06, so Anna thought that was my nanny, my new one. She's great, but a lot. I mean, my relatives, my sister-in-law thought that was our new nanny, and I basically like need to, whenever they're not looking and they have a computer available, I unfollow me on their Facebook so they can't see my posts. My wife doesn't even know that. She doesn't even follow my posts because I say shit and then I don't want to hear about it. Just like, let me be. I was on Facebook before you even were on the internet. So now you're on the Facebook and you're all over my shit. Like I banned my sister from my Facebook. I'm lying. Nice. I just got tired. Of like, I don't know. But you have your daughter Ashley, who is able to join us, right? And she's all over the place.
Yeah, she's in the UK right now.
That's amazing. And you've got, let's see, Sally.
Yeah.
And then is that it?
That's it.
There you go. All right. Well, Mr. Chow, thanks so much thanks for arranging that trip down there. That was a really, really fun time. And then also, thanks for coming on the show. I know it was funny. We had a lot of people on here, and all of you guys, I apologize we can't get into all your questions. We tried to do as best we could. I'll get better. I'll get some more people monitoring the chat and whatnot. But I think, it's going well. I really like these, and thanks for all the great comments going through. And thanks again, John, for coming over. And John, people want to check out MOBE under your site. Where do they go?
Just go to johnshow.com. It's I think the current post shows my last month's revenue. So.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, John. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week when we have Mark Hargrove on the episode, who, those who don't know, I did a radio show with Mark Hargrove. He was a WWF wrestler who started his own web hosting companies, built this massive web hosting empire, started an electronic cigarette company, and the electronic cigarette went public and had a market cap of around $6 billion, which made him about $500 million on paper at that time. He's gone on to purchase the Hoff, of the link building service, which he took to the moon. And he's even got some new stuff he's just been telling me about. So he's a fascinating individual. He will be on our next podcast next Tuesday. Don't miss it. Same time, same channel. Thanks so much, John, for coming out. And everybody, we will see you next week.
Awesome. See you guys.
See ya.